tip for you. So we've got that guy, and he is 2 inches. Okay, and then let's see if I can just get them in order here. There we go. And then our next piece of chain is 1.5 inch. So we've got a 1.5 inch piece right there. That's that guy. And now we have about a 3/4 inch. And let's see what that is. Probably a 1/2. Yeah, so that one is a 1/2 inch. And piece number 5, probably a 1/4. It's literally 3 links, and it's more like an 1/8, but it is basically 3 links. There we go, 1, 2, 3. And so there we go. So now my chain is cut. Those are your measurements. If you want to do something similar that I've done, let me reconstruct that. So I'll just get these back on here really quick. And we'll get into making our simple loops. On our head pins, these are really beginner friendly. Very easy to make, very fast. That goes fast. It's not any lengthy project. So that's kind of a bonus. And I'll just connect to my ear wire, of course. Of course, they have to drop right out of my hand. Just feed it on the ear wire, and we'll close that up. And just secure that. And these are great jump rings for just exactly that reason. And those are back in the saddle. Okay, guys, and so now you can pretty much do whatever you want, but I'm going to go ahead and just continue the design that I already started. Sometimes, as you guys know, I mix it up here and there, and I'll do one and then design the other one a different way. But this time, I'm actually going to do them exactly the same because I love it. I love this, the way it just came out beautifully. So our head pins, guys. So I'll just make them all and then we'll connect them all. It's the easiest way to do it. So I'm going to grab a head pin, and then I have my 8mm bead cap facing up, and then we'll put our carnelian on, and then it looks like we have the Navajo white on top of that, and that's that one. And then you can just bend it, and then you can just eyeball it. Usually use my finger as a measurer. And we'll just do simple loops. So you just put your round nose in there, a little bit towards the edge. We don't need that big of a loop, and we just move it forward. That's how hard that is. It's really easy. And that one's done just that fast. And then we have the bead cap again with the concave facing up. And then I have the glass crackle bead in amber, and then I used my daisy spacer, and then that pale turquoise, and then I snugged it with a bead cone on top. And so there's the pattern for that one. Just put a little bend in it. We will snip a smidge off there and make a quick loopy loop. And then next we have feed them on later. You put your beads on your chain, then feed your chain on. I like to feed my chain on first, just because it gets bulkier with your beads on it and heavier. So I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna feed my ear wire on, okay? And then I'm going from longest to shortest. And so I'll just feed it on exactly that way. So there's the longest piece. And now in this step, guys, you also can get really creative and be intentional about which earring goes on which side. So that's exactly what I'm doing here, right? Because if this goes in my right ear, on this side is the shortest, right? And I'm sorry, and I just did that wrong because that's exactly what I want to do. And then on the left earring, I want it to be where the same thing, where the smallest cascading piece of chain is on the outside. So I'm going to feed them on in that order. So the opposite order that I did on the other side. And again, what also is really cool is that, you know, you're probably going to end up cutting your chain links like I did, where sometimes you have the long link and sometimes you're going to have the small link at the end, which just makes for a really cool look as well. Okay, and last but not least, that guy. And now I'm going to go ahead and close up my jump ring. Now, the other thing we're going to do in 1 second, I'm going to get this closed up correctly and get them to where they're kind of, I'm forcing my hands towards each other. And there we go. The other thing I'm going to do, guys, is I am going to double check my ear wire is the way that it comes from the factory, basically, right? Where it's not been opened or disturbed. So I'll just put it to the side and give it a gentle squeeze with my chain nose, just to make sure that that loop is perfectly closed. Okay, and so there we go. And so this one goes on my left ear, and as you can see, it's cascading the opposite as the other one. So we'll work our way up. So we've got the longest one here. Well, let's start with the shortest. So the shortest link here is, let's get these laid out here, is that guy. So all you do, guys, is just open up your loops and then slide them on the last link of your chain, and then close up and secure your head pins. So these are 24 gauge, so they're very, you know, malleable. So you might want to turn to the side and give them a gentle little squeeze. Make sure they're nice and closed. Okay, you definitely want to make sure that you're closing the loops on your head pins so that they don't slip off the chain. Okay. And then the next guy in line here is that gorgeous Navajo white. So we'll open that up and slide that on the last link. What's happening here? having a malfunction. Okay. So let's pull you this way. There we go. And now we'll slide that last link of chain on there and close and secure that head pin loop. There you go. And next in line is this one. And that would be, so we did our eye pin, which is this little guy, and then we dangled the Aventurine from that. So that would be this guy. And we'll just secure that. And if we need to turn to the side and give it a little squeeze, we can certainly do that, since I made a funky little loop there. But easily fixable. And now we will open up the bottom of that eye pen, and the loop on the bottom of that eye pen, and then we'll feed our Aventurine on. Perfect. And then we have this guy. So that's gonna go here. And just slide it on. It's super easy, guys. These are very beginner friendly, my friends. Very beginner friendly. And again, I will link all the products. You can find all of the products on my store to make these earrings, or you can opt to just purchase it in the kit, which is also includes a free gift bag. They come in cute little gift bags. Those of you that have ordered many of you have ordered my kits, you know they come in cute little bags with tissue. And our last but not least is our gorgeous 10mm Carnelian. And I wound this side up the opposite with the large link. That one has the small link on the bottom. So that's going to give it a little dimension and just going to be so cool. And another thing that's really cool about these earrings, guys, is they just, they dangle around so beautifully. They really, really do. And there's all of our scraps. And that is what we have. And so there's my right earring. And that one, it'd be on my left. So therefore this is on the outside and this is closest to my face. You know, but what's also cool, because I intentionally fed the chain that way, which you can do that too, is I can switch it around. You know, if I want to have, you know, the longest on the outside, then I can just switch them around. But that's kind of a really fun, cool idea when you're putting them together. If you're doing a cascading effect of how to feed on your chain. So I hope you guys enjoyed that tutorial of how to make the Harmony chain earrings. Beautiful, beautiful earrings. Gorgeous color palette. That'll go all year round, guys. And thank you guys so much for joining. Please don't forget to give me a like, thumbs up if you think I deserve it. And please feel free to leave comments in the comment section, and we'll keep that algorithm going. Okay, my lovies, until next time, be blessed.